The Atlanta Hawks take on the San Antonio Spurs for game two of the Las Vegas Summer League. We'll talk about what we saw from our vantage point. Hawksbeat podcast starts right here, right now. Let's go.
Kevin Huerter to get it in. Everyone standing at State Farm Arena. Huerter looks, plays it into Trey. 2 seconds, one. Trey's floater. Good! With .1, and the Hawks are going to win this game.
I was going to rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Lynch is a conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody as ruthless. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children. Praise be to Allah.
You are now listening to the Hawksbeat podcast with your host, E.J. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what is up? What is up? What is up? Welcome to another edition of the Hawksbeat podcast, another audio video edition of the Hawksbeat podcast. I know. I normally do just the audio pods, but I had so much fun on my last pod that I did with my guy, D Lee for 3. Make sure y'all go and check that out. I decided to give y'all another video pod tonight. I was trying to do something a little bit different, but don't get used to it. Oh, man. Tonight, Hawks took on the San Antonio Spurs in game 2 of the Summer League. Unfortunately, they fall. What was the final score? 79-76. Score doesn't really matter in the Summer League. I mean, some folks really get into that. I'm not really worried about that. We're going to talk about what we saw in tonight's game. I just got about 4 or 5 quick points from you, and then I'll be up out of your hair. First things first, man, a little bit of housekeeping. If this is your first time into the podcast, make sure that you subscribe to the podcast and follow us on all of our streaming platforms. If you are watching the video side, you will see our at Hawksbeat our little handle down there at the bottom. That is where you can follow us on all of our social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. It's always just at Hawksbeat. So make sure you give us a follow, tap in with us, and we will greatly appreciate that. All right, let's jump into this, man. Let's jump into it. Again, Hawks fall 79-76 to the San Antonio Spurs. Again, I'm not really concerned with the wins and the losses. And a little bit of news before we get into tonight's game. I didn't talk about it last podcast because it happened after the first game. But got to send a shout out to one Mr. Keaten Wallace. Keaten Wallace signed a 2-way contract with the Atlanta Hawks. And salute to him, man. A lot of folks was asking me like what I think about it. Hey, he played in College Park. He was very beneficial in College Park. He did well in College Park. I liked him. 2-way combo guard, 6'3", plays both sides of the ball. Hawks didn't want to let him get away, and I'm all for that. I'm all for that, man. So salute to Mr. Wallace. You know, I think especially being the fact that I really believe the Hawks need like a third point guard. I don't really know what they're going to do with that. There's kind of a log jam with centers, but we'll talk about roster construction a little bit more probably after Summer League. But I'm all for Mr. Wallace getting that 2-way spot. They still have one 2-way spot that is open, so guys got to be out there hooping like they hungry. You know what I mean? They need to be out there hooping like they are hungry. So salute to Mr. Wallace on his 2-way spot. First things first, man, out the gate. Hawks go with a starting 5, Juricic. I'm going to screw that name up the whole time. Let me try that one more time. Juricic, Risacher, Windler, Mo Gueye, and Baker. And it was clearly obvious that this team was in need of a point guard. And no disrespect, but I want to start with my guy, Nikola. Um, it's very obvious that he is not a point guard. He's definitely out of position. And I don't know if they're just kind of seeing how he responds. I don't know if they're just seeing, okay, let's just see what he can do, or if they're just like, we just going to put him there and that's just what it's going to be, right? Whatever the case is, it's very obvious that he's not a point guard. And there's no fault of his. I'm sure he didn't go into Summer League thinking he's going to be starting at the point. But it's very clear that he's not a point. And it's very clear that everyone around him, they just play different, right? Like, they just play different when you have him at the point, you know? And unfortunately, he didn't even get to play the whole game. He left in the second game because of a foot injury. And by the end of the game, I saw a picture of him in a boot, him in a boot. So I forget which one of the media guys, and I wanted to give him credit. Maybe I'll go back and look at it. But yeah, he was in a boot. So I don't know what that means for him. He's not currently under contract with the Hawks. So he's fighting for a spot. I don't know if it's going to be a situation where they still feel comfortable giving him that last two-way spot. Will it be a draft and stash type of thing? I'm not sure. I know that him being in that boot, it's not a good thing. So, thoughts and prayers and quick recovery and good vibes go out to my man. And I think he's a wonderful kid. Like he's got tons of personality, super aggressive, sometimes aggressive, maybe to a fault. But I like the kid, man. I like the kid. So I hope he's able to. To stick somewhere. I don't know what that means for his future with the Hawks, to be completely honest with you. So that is my take on Mr. Jurisic. I think that was right there. Next guy I want to talk about is one Mr. Mo Gueye. Mo. I remember last year when Mo Gueye played Summer League and everybody instantaneously fell in love with Mo Gueye. And I like Mo Gueye. For what it's worth, I like Mo Gueye. But as you can see by the little banner that I have up, he is clearly not ready. He's clearly not ready. And this may come as a surprise to some of you. I saw in a couple streams on Hawks Twitter where folks were like penciling him in as like the backup four, like the backup power forward to Jalen Johnson. And while that would be nice, he's just not ready for that. Like, he's just not ready for that. Like, and you see flashes and you're just like, ooh, okay. Like, he moves good. Like, you see flashes and then you're just like, yeah, he's just not ready yet. And it's no offense to him being not ready. I mean, I still think he's a good kid. I think he's a good prospect, but he is just going to need a little bit more development before I think that he's a rotational player. I just don't see it. And if you do, that's fine. If you want to talk about it with me, hit me up on X, hit me up at Hawksbeat. But I just don't think Mo G is ready for those prime time and those rotational minutes just yet. And it's not, no offense to him tonight. I thought he was kind of all over the place. What did he have his stat line? I think he was like 10 and 9. I think he had like 10 points, nine rebounds. Just made some questionable decisions for me, offensively and defensively. It seems to me when I watch him, it seems that the game is still moving fast for him, but I think that another year of development, put him down in the G, let him get his feet wet, let him run, let him, get out there and play, I think that would be really good for him, but it's clear he's just not ready. And I don't think he had a really good game tonight. There were flashes everything wasn't bad. So let me just say that everything wasn't bad, but if I was grading him, and I don't like to give grades, it wouldn't be a good grade. It just wouldn't be a good grade. No disrespect. But hopefully, hopefully he'll rebound. And Next game, he comes out and have a better game. But these first 2 games, I have not really been impressed with what I've seen. I'm glad he's healthy. That's a good sign. Let's stay healthy. I was really worried about his back. But he I think he'll be fine. He'll be fine. So staying in line with the power forward position, there is one guy who was clearly letting folks know that he is a serious candidate for these power forward minutes. And that was when E.J Liddell, 22 points, 5 rebounds in 27 minutes. Now, E.J Liddell put folks on notice like, yo, backup power forward minutes started to be had. And he was letting folks know that he deserves consideration, and I don't blame him. Inside outside game, he's a strong guy. I didn't really know much about his game, to be completely honest with you. I did a little film on him like earlier this week, but I've liked what I've seen. Of course, we take it with a grain of salt because it is summer league, right? It is summer league, so we take it with a grain of salt. However, I liked what I saw. If you're gonna dominate, bro. Like, don't, like let the chopper sing. You know what I mean? He was physical. He was inside. He was outside. He was making plays. He had a nose for the ball. I like, he hit a couple 3 balls. You know what I'm saying? I think it was like 2 of 6 from 3. So I really like what I saw from E.J Liddell tonight. And folks are talking about power forward minutes. When you look at the power forward position, of course, Jalen Johnson is going to be your guy. That's going to be your money, man. But what's going to happen when he goes to the bench? And God forbid he gets hurt. But I'm not going to put that in the air. But, like, you're going to need a serviceable power forward. And he is definitely in the running. Because if you look at the Hawks roster, and of course, the roster is going to be in flux because I really believe that they're going to make some moves. They kind of have to make some moves because, like, as currently constructed, like, this roster is really like crowded, and it just doesn't have much flow to it. Again, I'll talk about roster in maybe another podcast, but if you're looking at backup forwards, you got E.J Liddell, you got Mo Gueye, you got probably Nance Jr. probably plays a little bit backup 4. And if you want to go small, maybe you go a little DeAndre Hunter. So, like, those are the 4, right? I think he's got a good chance of seeing some of those backup minutes. So it will be only TBD on what that will be. But I really like what I saw out of Liddell tonight. Tough guy in inside outside game. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to do in the next game, man. 22 points. I believe he led the team in scoring tonight. He didn't start, came off the bench, and gave this team some much-needed firepower. So shout out to E.J Liddell. I like that because my son is named E.J. So, a little, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the EJs. Last but definitely not least, we got to talk about the Rook, man. Zacharrie Risacher, the number 1 pick in the draft, finished with a stat line: 11 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. My point, my thoughts on Mr. Risacher is simply this. And you guys, and like I said, I don't like to give grades, so I'm not going to give him a grade. This is one of those games to see how the young boy reacts when his shot does not fall. And the shot just wasn't falling tonight. And that's fine because when you play 82 games, you're going to have moments where your shot doesn't fall. So I particularly think he played better in game 1 than he did in game 2. I don't think game 2 was a wash. I thought he did some good things. I thought he did some things that were kind of like not so good, He's 19, and this is summer league. So I'm not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I'm not going to go on this diatribe of how terrible. I'm not going to do that, right? Because he's 19, this is his second summer league game. But here is what I saw. Shot didn't fall tonight, which is fine. But I think overall he has a good feel for the game. What do I mean by feel for the game? I mean, like when he's moving without the ball. I mean, I saw a couple instances where he's sealing smaller defenders, posting them up, moving without the ball. I think that was very good for the young kid. He's coming across to me after 2 summer league games as somebody with I don't want to say a high IQ, but it's not low, and it has the potential to be high, because when you watch him play, you're never like, oh my God, what are you thinking? That was a dumb play. That was a dumb pass. Like, he never does dumb stuff when he's playing, right? And that means he's smart. Like, he's been playing with professionals since he was 16. You know what I mean? So, um, I love how he can score with both hands. You know what I'm saying? We know about his shot, and his shot is bona fide. Well, is getting better, but um, overall, I like what I see from the kid tonight. I thought it was just okay. I thought it was okay. I don't think that he's a dynamic player. I don't know if he'll ever be a dynamic player, to be honest with you. Like, the ceiling is probably there for him to be dynamic, but I don't see it. Me personally, I would like to see him work on his shot creation, but I think everybody said that, right? Like, that's a scouting report. And I think even the Hawks had mentioned that, like, we want to work on his game as far as being able to create shots. It was obvious when you put him next to a point guard that's not really good, like, his game will suffer. You know what I'm saying? I don't think the Hawks ran enough action for him to really get him involved. I don't know if that was intentional or if it was just like they just want to let it flow. But like the first quarter or so, he was just kind of just run up and down the court. Get the man the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like, get mans the ball. And so that was a situation where you kind of want to see a little bit more shot creation from him. But overall, I mean, I like that he makes smart decisions, and he's not going to sink you. He's not going to sink you. And so defensively, I thought the first game was better than this game. Typically, when players aren't making shots, their defensive wanes a little bit. And that's something that even vets do, So that's just part of the game that he's going to have to learn as a 19-year-old. He did have some flashes. He had a nice alley-oop pass. He broke one guy's ankles and he hit the step back, and he almost made the step back, but he didn't make the step back. So I can't really talk about the step back. But yeah, it was just like a nice, hit him with the left and the right with the step back, and Mans fell to the ground, and all he had to do was make the J, but he didn't make the J. And there was another moment where he's just dribbling left to right, and he loses his dribble. So those things happen when you're 19. I'm not going to go too far to the left or too far to the right on those things. I'm not discouraged. I still think the Hawks made the right pick. I think the Hawks made the right pick with Zacharrie Risacher. And I think, if nothing else, you have a high IQ player who is going to really benefit from playing with guys like Trae Young and Mo Gueye and better talent. So be patient. Like, Hawks fans, be patient with young guy. And I think you'll see dividends. It was also nice to see Trae Young tonight. Trae was out and supporting his team, him and Jalen Johnson. I know he did an interview with the folks over at ESPN during the game. It was obvious that he wanted to watch the game. He's asking a question like, yo, man, let him watch the game. You know what I'm saying? And he had mentioned that, he had texted, Risacher before that he likes him and stuff. And Trae, he's let me just say this. A lot of folks was kind of like, oh man, where's Trae at after the first game? Trae's not here. Like, y'all gotta relax, man. Like, y'all's gotta relax. He's gonna be fine, man. Like, number 11 is not like that, man. He's gonna relax. He's gonna be there. He's gonna support his guys. So it was good to see him there supporting his guys. I knew he was gonna be there. He's always there, like every year, So it was good to see him supporting his guys, wearing an ATL hat, So all those rumors about Trae not wanting to be here, I don't buy into that. So Overall, kind of a sloppy, kind of a clunky game tonight for the Hawks. It was a summer league game, and that's kind of what you expect. But that's kind of what it is, man. The next game for the Atlanta Hawks is against the Lakers. Bronny James and crew. You like how it started with Bronny James, right? I pull for Bronny, man. I pull for all these young dudes, to be honest with you. But next game is Wednesday, July 17th at 9:30. They will take on the Los Angeles Lakers. And we'll probably, I don't know if we'll pod before then, but if any big breaking news drops, we'll probably drop in and give you guys a little something. But as always, make sure you connect with us on all of our social media platforms. Subscribe to all the platforms, even the YouTube. Maybe I might give you guys a little bit more YouTube content. That's that'll be in the future. The YouTube content is harder for me because I got to do a lot of editing and moving and shaking with that. So we'll see. Well, I'm trying to cook up something for you guys during the season to get you guys some more YouTube content, because I know there's a lot of folk that get down with the YouTube, and I want to get y'all too. So we'll see what we can do. But ladies and gentlemen, like we always say, God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. So if you don't know him, you need to find him. Show him some love, because that is all he is showing you. LOVE, love. We out. Peace.
Kevin Huerter to get it in. Everyone standing at State Farm Arena. Huerter looks, plays it into Trey. 2 seconds, one. Trey's floater. Good! With .1, and the Hawks are going to win this game.
I was going to rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Lynch is a conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody as ruthless. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from their claw. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children. Praise be to Allah.
You are now listening to the Hawksbeat podcast with your host, E.J